Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Homecoming, Season 1, Episode 8. It is called Protocol. So, full spoilers for the episode, as always. So, there's a moment in this where you're like, that's why they picked this aspect ratio.
Yeah.
So that 8 episodes in, they could do that.
Yep. Because we'd been assuming the whole time it was just, time difference, right?
Well, I mean,
And
it is in the sense that it's
well,
used to differentiate it.
it is, but it's not the time that's the difference that is the reason. And obviously, we spoke way
Sure.
back in episode 1 or 2, some of the thematic reasons.
Yeah, you feel closed in, you feel like your world's kind of cut off. And in this episode, literally, as Heidi remembers things, her world opens up. Like, that is
Yeah.
literally what happens in that moment.
Oh, it was so worth it. I'm gonna miss the other aspect ratio.
Yeah, it's weird now having stuff in the future. It's weird seeing Carrasco and not like that thin, like,
Yeah.
aspect ratio. There's like, whoa, there's like all this space to the side of his head. I'm not used to this. What's happening?
The world around him exists.
It's weird. Because I was actually laughing earlier on how one of the shots of them sitting in the car, I was like, we know Sam Esmail loves his headroom, and because of this really thin aspect ratio, he gets even more headroom out of it because they're framed at the bottom of the image, and then it's just this big tall
Yeah.
space at the top.
Yeah.
Also, the
Car trick.
the car
Yeah.
trick, yes, with the camera being connected to the car to give it this weird feeling of steadiness was back when they were
Do you know what is
parking.
weird? It almost gives me car sickness. I don't even get travel sick, but this it's almost the opposite. It's being unnaturally still.
I get it. I get it. It's almost like you feel more comfortable because you're rocking with the car as opposed to
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, no, I get it. I think that was because what you're used to, though. I feel like if you could, let's say we had vehicles that actually had, you know how like we watch the sci-fi movies, the ships always have these fancy technology that it doesn't even feel like it's moving, right? It's just everything's dampened and
Yeah, that's fine.
artificial, like, not just artificial gravity, but artificial kind of movement sort of
Yeah.
dampeners, right? If we were used to that, then this would probably feel just normal to watch it like this. But because we're so used to being in a car or a bus or whatever, and you're used to the rockiness, a train, like there's just this feeling to it.
Oh God, trains put me to sleep.
That'd put me to sleep
That
as
that
well.
the noise and the gentle movement. I will be asleep in like 5 minutes on a train if I'm not careful.
Trains are pretty relaxing.
Yeah. Pricks.
The people on the trains sometimes not so much, but the trains
Mm.
themselves are pretty relaxing usually.
Yeah.
Um, but so the episode is largely, um,
In the
essentially
future.
in the future, but it's largely one kind of big scene that's just cut in between two sides of it,
Yeah.
where Heidi and Colin arrive at the place, and now it's like just a general kind of wellness center, and it's got like a food court, and there's all these. It's no worth noting the homecoming section is closed off, like that's kind of like derelict and just left
Yeah.
alone. And at one point when they first walk in, Colin kind of glances round at it and looks up at it and is like, "Yep, she's going the other way. Good. Let's just stay away from that side.
It's like, yep, she definitely has no idea.
That's a good idea."
Which leads to maybe, just while I'm thinking about it here,
Hmm.
one of the things that maybe disappointed me the most about this episode.
Okay.
In the last episode, we thought Carrasco was kind of onto the idea that she was forgetting things.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
how it played.
I think he still might be. He's just not actually at the conclusion yet.
Maybe, but it was because there was no indication that he thought that
Yeah.
at any point in this. And he's like, oh no, she's off to destroy evidence. She knows exactly what she's doing.
Yeah. I mean, I think now in retrospect, I'll read it as okay, he's hearing her talk about memory loss, but he's not quite put the pieces together yet.
Yeah.
But it's given him food for thought,
Yeah, which I
essentially.
guess loops into back what I was saying last episode about being a little frustrating that he's so far behind.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah. But he sort of puts two and two together that she's got the envelope, and that's probably where she's heading. So he goes down there as well. And he, as soon as he walks in, holds up the leaflet. And, because I immediately said as soon as he walked in, he's going to recognise that staircase from the photo, because that was the
Yeah.
staircase that the photo was on. And he holds it up and he sees it, and he goes up that side. So they're on opposite sides of this big building, right? So Heidi and Colin over on the side, and there's a food court, and it's all that. One of the places in the food court actually had like a truck painted around it as if it was a food truck, which I thought was funny.
Yeah, I've been in a food court like that.
And they they're looking over there, and she's not really finding anything. She ends up storming into what she thinks is going to be her office, because this building, like a lot of buildings, the design is mirrored, right? So
Yeah.
like her office would be at the same part of this hallway over that side, and it's this masseuse office, and he's just like, oh, what do you want in here? And he's like, he's very calm and patient. To give the guy credit, he's like, oh, what's wrong? You seem upset. And
Sit down. Do
Yeah.
you want a massage?
he didn't quite offer that. He did offer some more.
If he was one step away.
Meanwhile, Carrasco's like stumbling around with the flashlight looking for things, and there's a lot of great shots over there with him looking at various things. Of course, there's a big moment before he goes in where he gets a phone call from his superior, who he left a message for on the way there, about how he was going to try and he was going to try and stop Heidi from destroying evidence. He was going to try and interfere with that, and she's like, "What are you doing? Like, why are you going after this?" And then he has to kind of admit that he's not found her yet, and that maybe he maybe misconstrued the situation a little bit. And she's like, "Wait, what? Like, your job is to do this. Get back here and do your job." And she's kind of talking down to him, and he is so determined. And do you know what I like about his character is they've really set it up that his motivation for doing this is to feel like he's actually worth something, to feel like he's actually accomplishing something rather than just pushing papers through and like approved, disapproved, blah blah blah, you know. So he gets frustrated. He just hangs up the phone and just immediately breaks the, because the door's locked. He's trying to go in and it's not working. That's when he gets the phone call, and then he's basically just motivated to pick up one of the
Screw it.
banisters, and he just throws it in, and that's it. He goes in and starts having a look around. So I like how they've just gradually, in just very small ways, built up his motivation for caring about this.
Yeah.
Over the course of the show, I love what triggers Heidi's memory, because
I know.
Because nothing works, right? She's in there, and the whole time you're thinking, is she recognizing things? Is she feeling familiar? And she eventually admits to Colin, "Look, I don't think I've been here before." And he's like, "I know you've not." And it's like, oh god, he's winning. Like, don't do this. And just as she's leaving, she hears the bird.
Bloody bird.
That bloody bird. And that's when the cat goes wide. The black bars fade away.
And you go, oh shit.
Yeah. And not only that, the camera actually zooms in at her, or not zoom, sorry, tracks in at her as in fact, not even just tracks in. I can't remember the exact term for this. It's that trick where you track in but zoom out at the same time on the lens. And it gives this interesting technique, because there's a famous shot in Goodfellas doing it, but it's used here or there. What it does is that it keeps the person, for the most part, in the same size, but the background changes.
Yeah.
It's depth of field. So it has that kind of effect. It did go in a little bit as well, but that's what it mostly felt like. It had that
did,
kind of...
and then you had the screen literally just widening as well. So it's all this filling out on top of the perception changing.
Yeah.
All adds up nicely.
It was very, very effective. And she realizes she looks at her hand, and she's holding Colin's hand, and she pulls it away, and then starts walking with purpose very, very quickly.
And I love how established that bird has been, to the point where, just of course that's what did it.
She's storming out, and he tries to, and to my surprise, Colin very quickly admits.
He's like, no, he knows clearly. It's like, nope, it's too late. She knows.
So now he's like, no, hey, we were trying to do something good here. I was your boss. I sent you here. And he starts talking about it. And then he says, no, I've never stepped foot here. That was the truth.
Was true.
Yeah, which we said that was kind of part of his thing, is that he intentionally never came here for that. But he's here now. So, but of course, before this as well, it's worth mentioning just the great thriller setup of Carrasco in her actual office across,
looking over and seeing them.
Yeah, because the building's in it's a building with wings, right? That goes around this central sort of courtyard area, and he looks across at again, the idea that this is a mirror image of the other side. It's the exact same window directly across from him, and he sees Colin, and then he sees Heidi stand up, and it's a eureka moment for him. And he's actually running. He ends up like tripping down the stairs and damn near injuring himself on the way down.
Damn fool that he is.
But he gets out, and he comes up, and he starts
he's
interacting with
just
them.
not very good at staying on his feet, is he? At the bikes, the last episode or the episode before, now this.
No, he's stumbling. He really is stumbling. But And it gets really cruel because Colin gets really vicious. Where
Oh, he does. He
because,
gets super manipulative.
because he tries to wrangle his way out of it and sort of like, oh, this is, no, trust me, it's fine. No, I'm here investigating. I didn't come with Heidi. And she's like, no, yes, we did. Immediately just disproving him right away. And it's when he realizes that he can't just like slyly sleaze his way out of it, without admitting anything. He just steps in and says, "You can't do anything to me. You can't arrest me. In fact, you're going to go and file this in a bit of paper." It's kind of pathetic, and he was in really close at this point, and it's really demeaning, and you feel really bad for Carrasco. And Heidi, it's actually kind of a cheering moment when Heidi just decides, because Heidi's very quiet for a good part of this scene, and then just comes up to him and starts shoving him, and just eventually pushes him into the little pool, the little lake,
Yeah.
the little
I think the
fountain.
slimiest moment is when Carrasco asks them if they're together,
Mm.
and she's like, no, 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 and he's like, yeah, of course there's a relationship here. She's like, no, there's not, and he's like, well, what about last night in the hotel? And she goes, I hope that it was implying like I hope it was consensual.
Yeah, I hope you at least admit that it was consensual. That probably was the slimiest line of the whole,
That
because
was.
he knows it was. He knows she and she knows it was. And
But also, well, is it?
yeah, at this point,
Because
is it because you lied about who you were? You were taking advantage of her. At this point, I would actually debate if that was consensual or not.
exactly?
And
Probably not.
in the circumstances, I wouldn't say it was.
Yeah, I don't know the legality of it, but morally, definitely not.
Morally, yeah, I think legally there's no precedent for someone.
I mean, there might be.
Yeah, well, I don't think there is, but I mean, yeah, maybe there is. Maybe someone's had amnesia and someone's
Yeah,
taking advantage. I don't know, but yeah, that was really slimy, and it almost feels like now it's like almost just because they have actually had some sexual like interaction, it discredits her as being hysterical or something like that.
Yeah.
Like that's what he's playing with here. Like that's what he thinks he's getting away with, and then he goes off in a huff all wet because he's been pushed out of the little pool. And Carrasco's like, "Hey, do you want a lift?" And they're in the car together. And I mean, I have no idea what the next episode's going to entail. It wouldn't surprise me if they get very chatty in that car. If she might get very honest about things. I mean, she might
yeah.
not.
It's
But
interesting because obviously we've been heading for this moment for so long that it's almost hard to fathom what the last two episodes are going to be.
yeah, it's interesting that we come here. I think this comes back to saying it feels like a 5 hour movie rather than a TV show, because it feels like, no, this is Act 3. We're in Act 3 now.
Yeah, I think what's going to frustrate me a little bit is if Heidi just tells Carrasco everything that's been going on. It's going to feel like it's really going to rob him figuring it out for himself.
Yeah, there has to be an extra element of him discovering something, yeah.
Yeah,
That's true. But I'm really excited though, and it's exciting that it has progressed to this point. It's exciting to have these two characters together. It's exciting to have Heidi remember and have more of a purpose to what to fight back. Because
Yeah.
the neat framing device in this episode is the present day stuff. We see just the tail end of the phone call with Colin again, and then she comes into the building and she's, hey, here's the new guys that have shown up, the new recruits. Well, not recruits, you know what I mean. The soldiers who just came back, and she's trying to make this speech, this welcoming speech that she's supposed to always make, and she's kind of fumbling her words. She's hesitating. She's her mind's kind of lost, and then she eventually puts on the fake smile and sort of starts to get through it properly. And we kind of leave there and we come back to the future stuff, and that's that all the episode. And it's at the end of the episode it comes back, and it's during this scene again, and she's doing the fake smile. She says, we're here to help you, and I can't wait to talk to all of you and learn your stories. And then she goes up to her office and she just starts crying and hugs all of her stationery and puts it out of place. But then over the course, because the credits start playing here, after Walter chaps on the door and says, "Are you okay?" and she says, "I'm fine," and he leaves, she starts putting it all back in place, and that's what plays out as the credits are playing. And I'm getting good at predicting them, because I knew the credits were going to hit. I was like, this is where the credits are going to roll.
Do you know what it reminds? Because I did it in the last couple of episodes as well. It reminds me of that feeling of on the Deuce, where you're like, oh, this is it. Here comes the bass.
Yeah, here comes the bass. Yeah, it's exactly that moment.
Except it's here comes the silence.
Yes, here comes the soul-destroying silence of despair that this show does so well at the end of its episodes.
Exactly.
Oh dear. That's just comparing Sam Esmail to David Simon, right? That's just all this is.
Pretty much.
That's what he does. But nah, it was a really good episode. It was a really great payoff to a lot of what the season's been doing. And it completely flips the game a little bit because now the future stuff feels so different. And at this point, it's like, well, I don't think we need the aspect ratio to tell us that it's a different time because I think we'll just get it from context easily now.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm going to miss the aspect ratio just in terms of the way it looks and how stylish it's been playing with that. But hey, it served its purpose and it was worth abandoning it for this moment.
Yeah. I am fascinated now by what her cooperation with Carrasco is going to be, if he's even going to get a chance to continue pursuing this.
What is their plan?
If they even have a plan right away, is he
Yeah.
demoralized from this interaction with Colin? Does he feel like he can't do anything now anyway?
Yeah, I don't think they'll have a plan right away, but
Yeah.
they've got to have an end game that they're something they're targeting for the end of episode 10.
And of course, we also have the incident in the past, the present day stuff.
We still need to experience that.
And I'm believing more than ever that she's going to tell Waller the truth in the past.
Yeah.
More than ever, I believe that. I'd also say the way that Colin says everything's his fault implies that he at least knew and it was intended that she'd forget things.
I think so, yeah.
Just from the way he said that, it made me feel like, okay, he wanted her to forget. Whether she agreed to it or not is still up for debate.
Yeah, it could be a case of he did his thing and manipulated her into it, because we've seen how he's good at that.
Yeah, so no, really good. Not surprising. We'll be back with episode 9 in a day or two. So look forward to that. But we're getting really towards the end game. This opened up the scope of the show, if you will.
So, you're the worst.
We'll be back with episode 9. So let us know what you thought of this one in the comments below. Like and subscribe and all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. Actually, one final point in the direction just now that I'm thinking about it, because I was thinking about this when I was watching it. At the start in the present day stuff, when she's coming in from the phone call, when she first hangs up the phone and she's just standing there kind of in shock of the conversation she's just had.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that traditional Sam Esmail headroom, because you can see the top of the trees, right? And it's a really, really neat shot. She feels small in the world. Again, very traditional Sam Esmail.
I think it's interesting that we've slipped into having more and more headroom as it's gone on. Like throughout the season, like she's getting smaller and smaller. Yeah.
But what I thought was notable here in the direction is that when she comes back in and she starts to do this welcoming speech, first of all, the soldiers are never in focus. They're always out of focus. And on top of that, when she starts doing the speech, it is an extreme close up in her face. It's like, right up here. And it's the complete opposite of that wide shot where she's this really small person in the frame and all these trees towering up above her. It's like, no, now we're in her space. We feel uncomfortably close to her as she's uncomfortable herself.
I think it's the reality versus the act. Like, this is, okay, up close, this is the act she's putting on.
Yeah.
And then, outside where, okay, this is how she actually feels she's small.
Yeah, I like to point out that some of this little direction tidbits, because it's a really well directed show. So, but yeah, that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. Get us on patreon.com/MailFuzzTV if you want to support the channel and the show and everything we do here. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?